I'll let everybody hop in the stream. Just want to make sure does audio and everything sound good. So, was about to go to bed. Phone's blowing up. We are now live talking about Jesus Ferreira being the next DP striker for the Seattle Sounders. I'm just going to get right into this. It's going to be for a DP deal. For all of you that don't think it's for a DP deal, this is all you need to see. And we'll get back to the article. DP or TAM deal. He's a DP. It's a DP deal. I'm going to just jump straight into it and just say it. We are a finished club. Honestly, the fact that this is our DP signing, our new DP striker 9 signing after 3 summer windows of no signings. Craig Weibel, you have made this club a finished club. We are finished. This is the wrong signing. Just broken, like, as news. Sounders in advance talks to acquire Jesus Ferreira. Yada yada. Blah, blah, blah. I'm so pissed off. We have lost the plot. The Seattle Sounders have lost the plot as a club. We have lost the plot. The thing is, too, this isn't like it's this just has come up. This has apparently been has been ongoing during the offseason. This isn't new. Our DP number 9 next season's going to be Jesus Ferreira. Craig Weibel, you are fucking over this club. Holy shit, guys. Like, everyone keeps DMing me, but everyone's trying to make this make sense. Like, everyone in their heads like, but if we let go of Rusnak, if we didn't, no. Rusnak needs to walk, and Jesus Ferreira should not be our next signing next season as our new DP striker. This is ridiculous. We have lost the plot as a club. This is not the type. This is an unambitious, uninspiring move. How is the San Jose Earthquakes going in for Brandon Vasquez and we're going in for Jesus Ferreira? Has the last place team in MLS is more ambitious than us? What the fuck? We have lost the plot as a club. And if 2025, we are about to have Albert Rusnak and Jesus Ferreira as our new DPs. This is some MLS 2.0 business. The whole league is in MLS 4.0 and above, while we're all the way back in the dinosaur ages. We just let go of Rui Diaz because we knew he couldn't be a guy that could lead this club. And we're literally signing, yes, a guy that's 10 years younger than him, but pretty much the exact same player. Why are we sourcing within MLS? A DP deal is a joker card for us to be able to sign anybody we want. And we're using it on Jesus Ferreira in 2025? Seriously. I was about to go to sleep, have a good night, play some chess, have a good time. And then this shit's dropped. It's just the fact that some fans are trying to justify this as a reasonable signing or anything in between. You guys all don't know. This is for a DP deal. Tom Bogart's confirmed it. Everyone keeps thinking this delusion in their head. But if we sign Rusnak as a TAM, it makes it. Rusnak's not going to take a smaller pay. He's not going to take a pay cut. You're joking me if you think that. He's going to try to get more money than what he has right now. And guess what? We're about to sign Jesus Ferreira on another big. This is some MLS 2.0 stuff, man. We are done. We are done. FC Cincinnati breaking transfer records, signing the best strikers in the Belgian league. We got San Jose Earthquakes trying to buy one of the best strikers in Liga MX this season. Then there's fucking us trying to buy Jesus Ferreira. Literally just a 10-year younger version of Rui Diaz. And I'm not talking about the good version of Rui Diaz. I'm talking about last season version of Rui Diaz. Well, luckily for you all, we have a guest here that's going to add to this. Welcome, Will.
How's everybody doing?
Let me put on my headphones quickly. 1 minute.
I hope the chat is not crashing out too hard. Not necessarily the news you guys were expecting. The player you guys thought that could save the franchise or be the difference maker in your quest to beat or not beat LAFC, but just beat the Galaxy and return to MLS Cup. Man, you know what's funny? When the season ended, you and I talked about what they needed. They needed a DP number 9. They needed a DP number 10. This is not the DP number 9 that they needed. They didn't need a raw Rui Diaz, who's 10 years younger, but damn near identical, like as far as contribution at this point. Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is that Jesus Ferreira isn't even a true number 9. He's a number 10, or not even really a number 10. He's kind of an awkward tweener, more of like a second striker. He had one good season where he scored 18 goals.
Wasn't that like 2-3 years ago now?
In 2022. But the funny thing is he was always, I don't want to say second fiddle, but he was the overlooked prospect. Everybody was all eyes on Pepe. Then he went to Augsburg. Then Jesus Ferreira slid in and up top for FC Dallas. He had one good season. He got a call up or made the World Cup roster, obviously, for the U.S. And then he kind of just fell off. The fall off was crazy, man, after that. And I see a lot of people saying, or a couple of people saying, or maybe the same guy spamming RSL 2.0. The issue is right now that it feels like the Sounders have lost their identity.
Dude, this is so frustrating. And the thing is, well, you're not even a Sounders fan. And I'm happy you, first and foremost, as well, you're taking time to hop on to talk about this just so we have two people's perspective on this. But I mean, seriously, today is the day the club is. I've never seen the Sounders so this is just so uninspiring. This is just, it blows my mind because you have an opportunity to essentially have a clean slate. You know, you could let Rusnak walk. You're letting Rui Diaz walk. You let João Paulo walk. Maybe you sell Liao Chu for like some decent money. But my goodness, you're going to give Rusnak a bigger deal. You're going to bring back Liao Chu. You're going to try to sign Jesus Ferreira as Rui Diaz's replacement. What the fuck? Do you see that group? Did seeing your group for the Club World Cup rot your brain this hard, Craig Weibel?
You know, let's see. Lex brought up what I told you on the phone. He says, I feel like this is a Rusnak or Ferreira situation. It's like the Sounders are now the Colorado Rapids. They're now the Montreal Impact. They take other team scraps and make them DPs on their team. They did it with Albert Rusnak, and they're doing it with Jesus Ferreira. I would be very, very surprised if Jesus Ferreira, who's making, I want to say $3 million, maybe it's $2 million.
It's confirmed. It's confirmed. You don't need it. Tom already said he's a DP.
Okay, so he DP. Okay, either way, he's going to be a DP. This is not the Sounders team we saw that went and got Obafemi Martins, Clint Dempsey, Nico Ladero. They are just so scared to go get international designated players now. They just want to sign MLS players. I don't know what Craig Weibel's plan is, but they've lost their identity as a club. They're not the innovative club anymore. They're the scrap club. They're the Seattle Scrappers is what I'll call them. They're going for scraps. And it's sad because the league is stronger when every ambitious team is maximizing their resources and potential. The Galaxy are doing it now, right? The Galaxy are going out and signing European, well, not just European, but South American big-time players, right? 10, 11, $12 million transfer fees. And what happened to them this year? They won MLS Cup.
Yep.
I just think this is a dead-end move.
Dude, people are bringing it up in the chat right now. Last season, Rui Diaz even had more goals than Ferreira. Like, isn't that ridiculous? Isn't this like I get Jesus Ferreira is 10 years younger. Like, I totally get that. But it's like, if you've seen Ferreira play, like, this is just not like, sure, if you get Ferreira as like your second string striker on like a low contract, sure. But we already knew as soon as I saw this, when you sent it to me, I already knew it's for a DP deal because he's on a DP contract.
Well, it also too, who's scoring goals for this team? He can't score. Jordan Morris can't score. Rusnak can't score. And when I say score, I'm talking about your Obafemi Martins. I'm talking about
Freddie
your
Montero,
Freddie Montero,
Rui Diaz, Eddie
15 plus.
Johnson's.
They don't have a 15 plus goal scorer
Nope.
on this team. And in MLS, that's a non-starter. You have to at least have that on your team. You're in trouble. I can't even tell you the last time an MLS Cup winning team, I don't think there has been, at least the last decade, been an MLS Cup winning team who didn't have at least one player on their team that scored 15 plus goals. And so they're wasting one of their key spots on one of their key DPs on Jesus Ferreira. Now there is rumors. I have to preface this. There are rumors that they're going to introduce this new mechanism to buy players in MLS. Maybe that is what they do, but he's still going to be a DP regardless if that's what they do. So it really doesn't matter how they acquire him. It just matters that they're going to, and he's going to be a DP. So you got one spot left, and there's rumors that they're going to re-up Albert Rusnak. So your DPs could potentially be Rusnak, Jesus Ferreira, and Pedro de la Vega. It's just not a good situation.
It's wraps. Season's wraps, bro. Go to those Club World Cup games with expectations of the Sounders getting absolutely diddied. Oiled up shit, bro.
Costco lube.
Dude, I don't even know, man. Not even. We can't even afford that type of shit. Get the 7-Eleven one. Bro, it's just ridiculous. Next season, Rusnak, Jesus Ferreira as your designated players? That's wrapped. If you need to see any more from Craig Weibel, this is what you need to see. Renews, Jordan Morris and Christian Roldan on 7-year contracts. Retains Ladero, Rui Diaz for way too long. A year to 2 years too long. Signs Eber, signs Musovski, all these shit fucking players. And this is the cherry on the top. He's going to give Rusnak a bigger DP deal in 2025 and use up a designated player contract when you're going to face off against PSG, Atletico Madrid, and Botafogo with Jesus Ferreira. And to add the cherry on the top, doesn't make any signings for 3 straight summer transfer windows because he keeps making the excuse we don't have the roster space to do it, but then keeps renewing players because he has no fucking balls to let anyone walk or to sell anybody. And as well, to add another thing, had an offer on the table for $4 million for Liao Chu and decides not to take it because he has 0 fucking brain cells.
And he hasn't done anything. He was a non-factor in the playoffs and honestly the season in general. Okay, let me pose you a question. I'm going to ask the chat this as well, okay? Because I think this is an interesting point, right? You got the Sounders and you got San Jose. And obviously, it looks like the Sounders are going to have Jesus Ferreira as their new DP number 9, which is absolutely wild. San Jose is rumored to be buying Brandon Vasquez from Monterrey. Would you rather have Brandon Vasquez?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brandon Vasquez.
So now the San Jose Earthquakes, the literal butthole of the league at this point, are more ambitious than the Sounders.
No, I just talked about this. Yeah, that was the first thing we talked about in this stream.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that part. But yes, it's sad. And Craig Weibel, I don't know what the fans are going to have to do to get him more motivated.
Vasquez.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to have to do to get him out. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of fans were frustrated with Garth down the stretch of his tenure, but Greg Weibel is so much worse, man. Craig Weibel is fucking terrible, man. He is inept. He can't do anything right. He doesn't know how to sign the right players. I don't even know if he knows how to sign any players because he sure as hell didn't do it this summer. He did, Pedro de la Vega, I'm willing to bet is on a list that Garth left over, and he's just kind of like checking and seeing like, hey, is this guy available? Can we get him? I just don't know what his plan is. And you and I already talked about how old this fucking team is. So you're going to take this old, bandaged, fucking senile, geriatric team, and you're going to throw Jesus Ferreira in there in the mix, and that's supposed to make you contenders now? That's the game plan? You guys are fucking cooked if that's the plan.
Dude, not even to mention the group that we're put in as well. I mean, seriously, Sounders just might as well be, dude, at this point, hire fucking Greg Berhalter as the coach, because you got all of his favorite USMNT rejects. Seriously, Roldan, Morris, Ferreira. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, and that's the sad part, is that the Sounders are representing Major League Soccer at the Club World Cup. And as everybody knows, I cover the league. I have no allegiance to any team. I'm just cover the league. That's what I do. So I'm obviously hoping that the league looks good at this tournament. The Sounders are going to be the laughing stock and get us embarrassed again. Who was the team they lost to in 2023 in the
group that the team that is in Miami this year?
Yeah. So, which I got absolutely crucified with them when I mentioned them and I did my predictions or like review.
They did the same thing to me when I previewed our game with them. They're a passionate group of fans.
I love it though. I love it.
No, I love it too.
But they're screwed, man. Like their Botafogo is their worst team outside of the Sounders in their bracket. They got PSG and Atletico.
I would even argue Botafogo is better than PSG. I'd honestly argue that.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. Dude, listen, it's like which one do you want to do? Do you want to fucking get beat to death? Do you want to drown? Do you want to catch on? You want to be set on fire?
I mean,
all of it's bad. Like, the result's the same. Either way, they're just going to get absolutely embarrassed, man. I don't even know if they'll score a goal in the Club World Cup. Do you honestly think they will score a goal against either or any of those three teams?
Maybe, yeah. When they're down by 4 goals, yeah, they'll get 1 goal.
I don't even know if they're that lucky. I honestly don't. Now, Stephen Fry was playing hero ball. Maybe he'll carry that on into the Club World Cup, and they'll be able to maybe keep the games respectable, even if they lose. But they just don't have any there's no goal scoring threats or anybody who can create chances on this team. And the sad part too is Portland, which everyone in this chat hates with a passion, and I completely understand that. Even though they fucking suck, they're still spending more money than you. They're just,
even the San Jose Earthquakes are.
There are more teams. Honestly, what is if you take Pedro de la Vega out of the equation, right? What was the last transfer that they had that was over $2 million? Was it Leo Chu?
Probably. I don't even think Leo Chu was $2 million.
I don't remember. I just remember he was I think he was their first ever. I think he was their first ever U22, wasn't he?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. I'm just curious what their I'm gonna look and see what their records are. Obviously, I think Clint Dempsey's still the record fee, somewhere around like 9 million or something like that. Okay, 8.8 or 8.18 million euros. De La Vega's number 2. Okay, so the last time they spent over $2 million for a player was João Paulo. Actually, no, it was Leo Chu. It was 2021. So Leo Chu was the last player they signed for over $2 million. But Raul Ruiz, Nico Ladero, Obafemi Martins, all these guys they signed back in the day, man. This team is just not evolving. They're not.
We're going backwards.
They're getting caught up like what the Galaxy were doing before they had this reset. They're playing in MLS like it's 2015 or 2016, and it's not. They're not using their U22 spots effectively. They're not signing DPs that you have to sign nowadays to win. They're signing. I mean, Pedro de la Vega was supposed to be good, and he's not. He's actually kind of ass, to be honest with you, for what they paid. I mean, he's the second most expensive player in their history, and he damn sure hasn't played like it. They're just not building the team. Craig Weibel is a fucking dinosaur, dude. He doesn't understand what modern MLS is. He just doesn't know how to build a team in the current MLS.
Seriously. we're just I don't even know what to say, man. I mean, what is the likelihood this deal doesn't happen?
Um, I think there's a better chance of you signing with them than the deal not happening. Yeah. See, look at what Sergio Mendoza said. Sign Peck. Will give him a Bellevue as a payment. So here's the thing. That's the type of signing you need to make. You need to go down there and get someone like that. Gabriel Peck is going to be the MLS record for outgoing transfer fee. They bought him for 12 million. They're going to probably sell him for somewhere close to 30 million euros. I think he might end up leaving this winter. There's a chance because of how good he's been. That's the deals, man. What really is frustrating is you, me, the chat, we all know the common sense thing of what to do, and yet the general manager has his head up his ass.
Seriously. And the thing is some fans just buy into it though. That's the crazy part is there's people like I could read you through my DMs right now on Instagram, people justifying it, saying like literally the first message in today's live is people saying like, "Oh, this is not this is not a bad move, this and that." And like I can't believe people, and it's the same thing with the Rusnak shit. Like everyone in the comments were like, "Well, Rusnak scored X amount of goals. Like, how are you gonna let him walk?" And I'm just like, dude, like, it's like not a non-progressive mindset. It's a oh man, it's a non-ambitious mindset. Seriously,
Too conservative.
too conservative.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video about just the spending in general, like some of the comments that Don Garber made this past MLS Cup weekend. I'm gonna make a video about that, talking about what he said, what it means, why it's disappointing, just really going into depth about it. But the Sounders are slipping into a bad pattern. They're not as ambitious as they used to be. It seems like they're just content with making the playoffs, but they're not really trying to win an MLS Cup anymore.
And the thing is, fans can't feed into that. Like I like. I'm worried that some fans feed into it. I'm not saying all, but some feed into it because it's like it's just following too much of the norm. Oh, because they want I don't even know how to say it, but because Rusnak scored X amount of goals, bunch of penalties, this and this, he has to come back. Well, do we all remember when Obafemi Martins had an absolute record-breaking season in 2015, or was our best player, not record-breaking, but was one of our best players? We let him go in going into 2016. We reinvested that money, got Ladero, the rest is history. I don't know what the fuck's happened to us. And for some reason, it's bled into our fans too to just be like, it's fine. It's okay. But the team's becoming a joke because like no one wants to actually step up and say something about it.
You know what's really sad though? Is that Hector Herrera had one down season with the Dynamo. Last year in 2023, he had 4 goals, 17 assists. And they said, "Yeah, dude, we're good. We're going to move on. We don't think you're good enough. We have higher expectations for our club. Even though you had one bad year, we're going to move in a new direction." And they spent $10 million on a striker this year, Ezekiel Ponce, from Greek side.
AK Athens.
Dude, the Houston Dynamo are more ambitious than the Sounders now.
It's ridiculous.
The Houston Dynamo is more ambitious than the Seattle Sounders. And if the Sounders keep operating like this, they will not win another MLS Cup. Brian Schmetzer is good enough to win an MLS Cup, but I don't think that just based on what's happening with Craig Weibel, I don't think Schmetzer has the
tools at all.
I don't think he has the keen eye. I think he's involved with this roster building. I don't think he knows how to build a roster. I think that Garth did a good job of building him a good roster, and then Brian was able to coach it. Craig Weibel obviously is not good at building a roster, and I don't think Brian Schmetzer is either because he's having a lot of influence. There was a power struggle with him and Garth, and they went with Garth just left town. But what we're seeing right now is there's no improvement and honestly regression. So I just think that they need someone in there who knows how to sign good talent. They need to get rid of Craig Weibel, which they probably won't. They'll probably get rid of him when it's too late. But this club just there's not a lot to be. I'm sorry to be pessimistic, but I'm being honest. I don't think there's a lot to be excited about this club right now. I mean, it's kind of, there's just not a lot of hope, especially if they sign someone like Jesus Ferreira. He's not going to, doesn't move the needle.
So comment here says it's not Brian's job to build a roster. It's Weibel's.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. But Brian Schmetzer has a lot of influence now than he did when Garth was here, and that's the reason why Garth wanted to leave. There was a power struggle. They didn't really get along very well, and Brian wanted to have a lot of influence in his players or who they sign, but that doesn't give Craig a pass because he's also supposed to identify talents and help improve this roster, and he didn't do shit. Like, who else has Craig Weibel signed besides Pedro de la Vega?
Eber, Musovski, Nathan.
Dude, Hebert was such a fucking blip, dude. Like, he came and gone, went so fast, and he was good for New York City FC. I think he had a hot start for Seattle, but then he just really like burned out real fucking quick.
Fell off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I just think that the ownership doesn't give a fuck. I really don't think they give a fuck.
He only signs bums. That's what he signs. He only signs bums.
Yeah. And I just don't think they're going to win an MLS Cup the way things are right now. I don't see it. The Portland Timbers, I'm going to look this up real quick. So,
okay.
Can you allow me to share a screen?
Yeah, sure. How would I do that?
I think you just go down at the bottom. Oh, I can do it. Here you go. Let's see.
Here, just text it to me.
It should say at the bottom where you can share it at the
right. Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. So if you look at this.
Zoom in a little. Zoom that puppy in.
I will for sure. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at this, I mean, Clint Dempsey 2013, Pedro de la Vega last year, just look at the fall off. Like it just goes completely off a cliff after Obafemi or after honestly Nico Ladero with what they've spent. And they honestly haven't spent a lot of money as much as I thought. Now they were pioneers in signing Clint Dempsey instead of
that was over 10 years ago now.
Now let's look at the Timbers real quick. Because I mean that's your rival, and they spend money even though they're in a smaller market. Let's look and see what they've spent, because they have been active. They've been trying to make this team better on a year-to-year basis. They've been trying to actually go for it. I mean, yeah, dude, they've definitely now look they've got a higher transfer fee record in Evander. They spent 9 million euros on Brian Fernandez, Sebastian Blanco. I mean, but the drop off. There's a gradual drop off. When you look at the Sounders, it goes from like 5 million straight down to 2 million.
2 million,
yeah. I mean, look at how many players they've signed that they've spent more money than what the Sounders have spent. This is a team that spends money, and now they do miss. Like, you'll look at some of these players, and some of them were absolute busts. Like Nias Goda was a bust, Milano was a bust. A lot of these guys were busts. But the difference is that even when they don't hit on these signings, they just dust themselves off and they try again, dude. They look in their inner Aaliyah, dude. That's a throwback, by the way, if anyone knows that song. But they dust themselves off and they try again. And I don't think the Sounders do that.
So Adam asks, as a Galaxy supporter, how far do you guys think Seattle go in the playoffs in 2025? I think this question goes deeper than this. Seattle are playing in, I believe, 4 competitions. MLS Cup, so MLS as a whole, Leagues Cup, CCC, and the Club World Cup. And because they play in those 4, they can't play in the Open Cup, correct? Or something along those lines.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It's just like they might do decently in Leagues Cup. They might get out of their group. And yes, Wade, this is for real happening. They might win a couple of games. They might beat the odd Minnesota, their bogey team, like the teams that, they always beat, this and that. But it's like, we won't be actual contenders. We'll just be there to be there. When we used to be a team that actually compete in these tournaments because we had players that can make a difference in these games. But instead, we're trying to buy Jesus Ferreira in 2025. Like, what the fuck?
Not good, man. And I'll be honest with you. Now, you might say I'm being a little too pessimistic or like too harsh. But would you be surprised if the Sounders didn't make the playoffs in 2025? Only 9 teams make it.
That's the thing is too, is like, until it gets to that type of extreme, I don't think fans will admit the problem. And I hate that it would have to get to that point for it to happen. We could recognize the problem now and fix it before it gets too bad. Kind of like the same things with Ladero and Rui Diaz. We knew that their legs were going. I literally did a video with Hercules Gomez 1 year ago, or maybe even close to 2 years ago now, where I said, like, it's literally titled, "Is it time for the Sounders to let go of Rui Diaz and Ladero?" And I got flamed for it because they're like, "You can't let go of these guys. They're club legends, this and that." And then look how things ended with them. You look at Ladero, his last year, kind of things ended a little bit sour. He wasn't even a main starter anymore. He was just kind of there to be there. Rui Diaz this year, if you've seen the images of when the team was leaving the field against the Galaxy, Rui Diaz was all by himself. I don't think he was part of any of the team stuff going on at the end of that game. How badly things went for the both of them because we held on for too long.
No, I agree. I'm just looking at the standings this year and just kind of like quickly processing it and looking at who could jump the Sounders in the playoffs. We know LAFC is going to make it, so there's only 9 teams that get a chance to make the playoffs. 8, 9 obviously played the play-in, right? LAFC is making it. Galaxy are going to make it. RSL is going to make it. Houston's going to make it. Minnesota's going to make it. Portland will probably make it, which is we're already at 6 teams. I think San Jose is going to make it because of Bruce Arena. I think that FC Dallas has a bounce back season. They're going to make it. That's 8 teams. So Seattle is going to be in contention with St. Louis City SC, Vancouver, Colorado, Sporting Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City is absolute garbage. They're not going to make it, but they're still in contention with them, and Austin FC for that final playoff spot. I do think there's a chance that they don't make the playoffs because of their congested schedule, and they're not signing any prominent players. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, they did miss the playoffs in 2022 when they won the CONCACAF Champions League.
Yep, and no one talks about that.
Yeah, because the CONCACAF Champions League was the saving grace. Like that kind of just wiped out all the negativity in the MLS regular season. But they could miss the playoffs. I'm not saying they will, guys. Anything can happen. They could sign some really good players.
I think they will make the playoffs, but again, it's just like, but that's paving over the cracks, man. There's real issue with this club, and I don't even think it just stems from Craig. I think it's the reason why the club wants to make this type of signing is because they know it's an easy signing to make. They don't have to shell out any real money for it.
No, it's a Band-Aid job for sure, and that's the concern is that they, they obviously need to, they need to be more innovative in the current MLS format, like we talked about. They need to have, they need to be able to sign some young players that are revolutionary for the team to change things out. Like this just doesn't feel like the same team that we saw a decade ago, 5, 7, 8 years ago. Where is Nico Ladero's replacement? It's not Pedro de la Vega because they don't play the same position. Where is that ambitious signing? How many number 10s from South America playing at Boca Juniors at only 27 years old did MLS sign 9 years ago, 8 years ago? The Sounders were the first team to make that type of signing. And also, I'm pretty sure he played at Ajax as well because I think he played with Luis Suarez because they're really good friends. Either way, that's neither here nor there. They went and signed Boca Juniors number 10 because the club wanted to be that ambitious team that did things differently in Major League Soccer. Where's that club at? Is that club dead and gone? It feels like it. Like it feels like that club no longer exists. Now, it's funny. I consider now a lot of you people will say that it's Portland Timbers is the biggest rival for the Sounders, and it is. But my other big rival for the Sounders is Toronto FC, just because how many times they faced in the MLS Cup final. They're also trying to find their footing. They're fucking up their roster pretty bad. They're signing Lorenzo Insigne $15 million a year. Literally put him on the unprotected list today so that the San Diego FC could draft him if they wanted him because they want to get rid of him because he's a fucking bum. He's making $15 million a year and he still has 2 years left on his deal. So 2 teams that dominated MLS the last decade have completely lost their way, completely failed to evolve with current MLS, and they're getting their ass kicked. And you know what's funny? Toronto FC is on their 3rd different manager in the last 3 years. 4th different manager in the last 5 years. Now, it could be worse, but it could also be better.
Yeah. I think that's the best place to end it. Boys and girls, big shout out to Will for hopping on super late. That's going to be the end of the stream. Shout out to everybody. This might be one of our record-breaking streams for just something happening this quickly. If you guys are watching this post live, make sure to smash the like button on today's video. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this Jesus Ferreira deal. I might have to, hurry up and get this video talking about Craig Weibel out soon, because my goodness, this guy is just taking an absolute, ruining this club, man. He is just ruining this club. And so I need to talk about it. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Smash the like button. I hope you all have a lovely
Before
day.
you end it, I got to say this
Yeah.
real quick. Guys, I'm only like 19 subscribers away from 5,000. So if you don't mind going and checking my channel out at MLS Moves, I'll put a comment down below here. Maybe Cheyenne will tag me in the description, but I'm only 20 subscribers away from 5,000. So if you don't mind, go check my channel out. Go subscribe if you haven't already. And I appreciate all the support.
If you guys got to get him to that 5K as well. How are we going to get Will to keep I'll make 19 fake accounts. There you go. Get Will to that 5K as well. Boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.